It's that time of year when we take stock of what we have, think of our communities, share what we can, and be thankful. For the Municipal Voice, that means we highlight organizations that give back to their communities. Today we are speaking with Doug Shaw and Jenn McCulloch of the Hometown Foundation, which supports a broad range of areas including animal welfare, emergency response personnel, individuals with intellectual disabilities, major illness, and the military. Join us as we reflect on doing more for our communities and think about what we can all do to pitch in. The Municipal Voice is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities podcast in collaboration with WNHH LP 103.5 FM. I'm your host, Matt Ford. As always, be sure to give us a like and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. CCM's Municipal Voice podcast continues to present a key forum on important state local issues. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the consensus views of CCM or member municipal leaders. Doug, Jenn, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So, first thing we usually ask our guests is to tell us a little bit about your organization, how you got started, and since you cover so much, then we can go into some of the individual areas that you cover.
Yeah, Jenn, you want to talk about that, when we started and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Hometown Foundation has been around for probably over 20 years now. It really started as a way to give back to Special Olympics, which kind of gave birth to our individuals with intellectual or developmental needs pillar. Since then, we have been asked to help in so many different areas of the communities around us, and it's grown. So now, in addition to that first pillar, we also have animal welfare, major illness, the military, and emergency response personnel. So we really kind of run the gamut of pretty much anything you could be passionate about. We support it in some way.
Great. So I guess the first alphabetically, we might as well start with, is animal welfare. Can you tell us what you do year-round to help out animals?
Absolutely. So we we'll back up to say we have the Dream Ride experience. It happens every August. Again, that kind of stemmed from that first initial motorcycle ride and grew. But part of the Dream Ride experience does entail an animal adoption event. So we bring in probably a dozen rescues, and they have different animals that are adoptable. So we do a lot of dog adoptions and stuff like that. We partner with Big Dog Ranch Rescue down in Florida. We actually do a lot of adoptions with them. They support us if we find somebody, for example, with special needs who needs a specific kind of dog, or a dog would just kind of help make their everyday life like a little more fun. So we partner with them on that. And with Dog Star Rescue here in Connecticut, they're a really big partner of us as well. And then of course we get different requests throughout the year. There are animals in need in different shelters, or different foster agencies and stuff like that, who kind of run into those situations, where there's a litter that has parvo, or there's an animal that was abused and things like that. So it really kind of spans all the different needs of animals, and, any way that we can help them.
That's great. And about how many adoptions do you think you facilitate in a year?
So Dream Ride alone is usually about 100.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then last year we at our Back the Blue event, which was in response to the shootings in Bristol, we worked with Dog Star, and they actually were waiving the fees for emergency response personnel during that time. And then we also had the dogs there on site. We bring dogs to a lot of different events, whether it's to our Farmington Polo Club for just, a regular polo match. We really try to incorporate it in as many places as we can to get those adoptable dogs and animals, cats and other animals in front of the general public to make that connection.
So just doing whatever it takes to get those animals into good homes.
Absolutely.
You mentioned emergency personnel, which I know is another one of your pillars, and there's a connection there, I think, with the animals because of the donating resources for canine officers. What other kinds of resources do you assist local teams with?
So emergency response personnel, canine is really, I think it's probably the biggest program that like ours in the world. We donate fully equipped police canine. So you're not just getting a canine, it's coming, it's trained, it's got its bulletproof vest, it's got its tracking collar. And then we support the officer in the department as the dog, grows and it goes through, dogs aren't, it's not a piece of equipment that you just buy and it's done. They need their heartworm preventative, they need their food, they need, they grow, they need a different vest. So work with different departments to do fundraisers. We help them kind of run funding programs for their canines so that they're able to do that. We are able to order things for them to kind of get them a better deal on what they're, the best bang for their buck on what they're raising. So that's the biggest thing. And then, of course, with emergency response personnel, we respond, in tragic situations. And Doug can kind of talk a little bit more about what we recently did in the wake of Detective Garton's untimely death. So,
Doug, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, when the community calls and they need our help, we're there for them. And when the officer was tragically killed, we stepped up and brought all the food up to the funeral as well as the wake. Took care of the family and the guest up at the Excel Center. And it's just something that this foundation has been doing and will continue to do. Like I said, when the community needs us, we're there to pitch in and do what we can do.
So whatever the issue is, you're ready and willing to help. We
are ready and willing to help.
And luckily, we're backed by Bizzuto's and the Farmington Polo Club. So we kind of have, I'm not a big cook. So luckily, we have the Farmington Polo Club to kind of take care of the actual, catering and the great food and things like that. And then the Bizzuto's trucks to transport it. So it really is like, really does work all together. Very symbiotic.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, Matt, I've been here just for a couple months. That's why it's great that Jenn's on here, because she has all the vast knowledge of everything that we've been doing. As far as a not-for-profit, I've been in the nonprofit world for over 20 years.
Okay.
And what I've learned is it's all about people that you've connected to your nonprofit. And so I just want to talk about a little bit about our staff. We have a tremendous staff that really cares about the community. And like we just described with the officer when he passed away, when there's a community need, our staff steps up and the answer is yes, we're here to help. And then it's more than just your staff that you connect to your nonprofit. To have a great nonprofit, you have to have a wonderful volunteer base, which we do, great community partners like the municipalities and towns that we work with. But also we want to thank all the donors and sponsors that really participate in everything that we try to accomplish. Because without people and connected to the foundation, we couldn't accomplish what we accomplish.
You really need the help of the community.
Absolutely.
I know you also provide educational programs, training opportunities. Do you do them all yourselves, or do you work with other accredited organizations? What kind of trainings are they?
As far as that goes, it's more of leadership opportunities that are provided. So again, it all kind of circles back to Dream Ride in the end. So at Dream Ride, we have our Dream Riders who, again, they started as just people from Special Olympics, but we've really expanded to include different organizations such as Best Buddy, Make-A-Wish, and then a lot of smaller organizations that are really helping those communities who are kind of, they need a little bit more from the world, and they are, we have these amazing organizations that are stepping up to help. And so when they're able to come to Dream Ride and be in an environment where they look around and there's so many other people like them, whether it's somebody with Down syndrome, whether it's somebody in a wheelchair, whether it's somebody who's battling cancer, somebody with autism, just some, they're sensitive to sounds or light, so they've got their ear protection on. And you just see other people, so you don't feel that isolation that maybe you would feel in a normal setting. And so having the Dream Riders be able to come together provides that leadership opportunity. We have some who will kind of help lead different games, some who will be able to see another person who's kind of struggling and know the way to help them because they've been through it before. So those are really the leadership opportunities at this point that we're able to provide, as well as Doug mentioned before, like having the volunteers and things like that. So we try to involve our Dream Riders in different ways in volunteering. We have a great group in Florida who is always stepping up to help. And they really have learned so many leadership skills just through being able to do these different projects together, to be part of the events that we have and have kind of ownership over a piece of it, whether it's like creating a special craft project to share with everyone, or greeting people as they come in. It just like, it's really like giving people a purpose at these different events, and it makes you feel good because you see that you're a part of it and you've helped make something awesome happen.
That's great. You mentioned Florida just now, so your reach and programs goes well beyond the bounds of Connecticut.
We are worldwide, really.
Okay.
So with Dream Ride, I believe this year we brought athletes, Dream Riders from 41 states.
Oh, wow.
In 5 countries. So we have a great partnership in Australia. So they actually love Dream Ride so much that they started their own. So they have a one-day Dream Ride that's held in the spring. So it's really cool. And so we have some different people from America that will go over to that. And then those Dream Riders come in August. And it's really beautiful to see, the connections that they've made. And they talk throughout the year, they're on social media together, they're texting, and then to see them be able to like reunite and like see these people who have become their family is really beautiful.
So those connections that they make go beyond just the event itself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We say Dream Ride 365 because it really is all year round.
And Doug, you were going to say something?
Yeah, and like Jenn was saying before, we do have an office in Florida. So we have a staff person down there that does run some events for us as well. Beth does a great job for us. And we're actually looking to add more events in Florida.
Awesome. You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. On your website, you write the organization has raised millions of dollars for individuals with disabilities and individuals in need, including your Hungerless Holiday program. I think it's pointing at this time of year to think about families that can't afford a Thanksgiving dinner. Why is it important to give back at this time of year?
Well, we just wrapped that up. It was 27,500 turkeys that we donated through the program. So we're all a little sore, muscles are a little tired. Those are like 50-pound cases we're moving around. So in addition to produce, fresh and canned. So really when you think about how many people a turkey serves, it's over 100,000 people that we provided holiday meals to with the help of our retail partners, with the help of Bazzuto's, of course, our sponsors and our donors. We would never be able to do this without them. But I mean, it's kind of one of the easy ones for people to buy into. Like if you have food on your table, you kind of can think about how would it feel to not be able to do that. Everybody goes to the store and they feel like the pinch of, the rise in price of groceries. I know when I go, I'm like, wow, that's more expensive. But, we're all fortunate in the place where I can feed my family, and, thinking about that there are people out there that can't is, I think anybody who has the benefit of being able to feed their family is really quick to be able to say, I want to help somebody who can't, especially at Thanksgiving. You think of Thanksgiving and it's your family coming around the table and being grateful for all that you have. And, we really want to be able to give people that day to come together without worry, without stress, and to be able to really enjoy their family, enjoy the things that they do have to be thankful for. And, we just love being able to be a part of it.
And when you're handing out the turkeys and the food that we did, just to see their reaction in the people's faces and how appreciative they are, it really warms your heart. Every day we were out there this past week. So it really is nice about giving back.
That's great. And do you partner with any other organizations on that project, or where do the turkeys come from?
So many organizations. So it's kind of a process where the different organizations will fill out a request form for how many turkeys that they are wanting for their organization. And again, with the way the economy is right now, they're seeing bigger demand. And so that we were seeing larger increases in the amount of turkeys that people were asking for. And luckily, again, we have great sponsors, great donors who have grown with this program. I think we did 5,000 or 6,000 6 years ago when we started, and so to be at 27,500 now is really great. And we have had, just the best sponsors, the best donors that have just grown with the program. And like Doug said, I mean, I think them seeing the impact of what they're doing, it's so tangible, like it's not, it's just, you're taking a turkey and you're handing it to a family in need, or you're handing it to an organization that is going to hand it to the family. And so you just can really see what your money is doing. And so I think as far as, the growth of the program, it's kind of an easier ask than other things that we do, just because it really does make such a immediate impact on people's lives.
And we're lucky, being the charitable arm of Bizzuto's. You asked where the turkeys come from. So Bizzuto's purchases all the turkeys. And then we get a lot of donations and sponsors that then help us pay for that.
That's great. And does it go beyond turkeys? Like, is there anything with stuffing or anything like that?
It came with potatoes, and it came with carrots, corn. It was additional items.
So
it's
a whole meal. It's not just
almost a whole meal.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And it really was. I mean, the day we were in Hamden, Jen, it was just amazing seeing the people's faces. It really is about giving back at this time of year.
Well, and the other really impressive thing is really seeing what all of these different organizations do, because, we partner with Food Share, and they just kept saying, this is just one meal a year. And these people who are requesting these services, they need help every day. It's not just Thanksgiving. So while we're really grateful to be a part of it this time of year, we really, it is in our heads throughout the year. Like, probably starting next week, we'll start ordering our turkeys for next year. So we're constantly, looking for people who are interested in helping us, people who are looking to sponsor, people who are looking to donate. Always grateful for, every single dollar really truly does make a difference. So,
Cheshire Food Bank came in to see us last week, and they said if it wasn't for us and Bizzuto's, they couldn't do what they do and serve as many families as they're able to serve. So it's really just great hearing those stories.
Some of these communities.
Yes.
So as you mentioned, it's not, just Thanksgiving, after that, people still have needs, and the holiday season even extends all the way through the new year. So can you tell us a little bit about the Hometown Holiday Toy Drive? How can people participate in that?
We're so excited about the toy drive. It really, when you think of Christmas or Hanukkah or, whatever holiday you're celebrating that time of year, you're really thinking of a kid's pure excitement on Christmas morning, like opening that present. And so our toy, again, just like our turkey drive, our toy drive has really grown over the years. And it's kind of this process where we get different organizations that will request toys. And we have sponsors and donors, especially out in the community. We have great partners who are, serving kind of as a box drop for people who want to donate a toy. We also have a page that you can go, hometownfoundation.org. There's a link right at the top of it for our toy drive. And you can go on, and we actually have an Amazon wish list where you could just kind of shop the Amazon wish list. It'll come right to us. You can donate money and we'll shop. I love finding a good bargain. So it's always fun for me too, to do that. But, and then we get to go out into these different community partners, whether it's a school or a community center in one of the towns. I think, we partner with United Way. We actually go all the way to New York City to Covenant House, which serves homeless families. So that's a really beautiful one as well. So yeah, toy drive is great. And then we're also partnering with the Bridgeport Islanders. So on December 2nd, we will be the nonprofit of the night at the Bridgeport Islanders home game against the Providence Bruins. There's a link to that on our website as well.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. What is the International Ambassadors Program?
As I was mentioning before with our different groups that kind of come in from Australia that go to Australia. We also had people coming in from United Kingdom and Sweden and Ireland this year as well.
Wow.
And so really it's people who are building those relationships. So they're able to come in, and we had a kid named Ian last year from United Kingdom. And so he came in and he actually got up at Dream Ride, and it's about kind of talking about their experience of what it's like to be part of Special Olympics, or to be part of, it's called Foundation 21, is the organization we work with down in Australia. So it's sharing their experience of what it's like in their country, of sharing the struggles they face, the things that make their life easier. It's really interesting. I got to be part of some really great conversations this year with our international partners, and just kind of hearing like the differences in healthcare, the differences in getting services and things like that. And it's not just about the kids, it's seeing the parents like form these connections with each other and say, oh, well, I wouldn't have thought to do this, or my country doesn't have this. Like maybe that's something that we can work on. Sorry, my dogs are barking. So really just seeing them take on, again, like that role of not only sharing their experiences with each other, but sharing tips and ways to kind of like continue to thrive and to overcome the obstacles that they're facing.
Great. So it's hard to say that the pandemic is completely over, but during that, you pivoted to assist essential medical staff, first responders, emergency response personnel.
Yeah.
What was that time period like, for a group that covers as much as you do? How did you manage to kind of pivot and switch what you do on a relatively quickly?
So again, if you look at our pillars, we can definitely put nurses and first responders under our emergency response personnel pillars. And again, our partnership with Bazzuto's was huge in this, because we had access to things like hand sanitizer, toilet paper, sanitizing wipes, masks. So a lot of it was distributing that stuff to people in need, and making sure it was getting to the people who were on the front lines versus, it goes to the store and some person just goes and buys all of them because they see them. So it was really like kind of allocating those resources and being able to work with the different towns, the municipalities, police, fire, hospitals, doctors, nurses, and making sure that they had the supplies that they needed in order to continue to serve the general public and to be the front line of the pandemic. So.
Yeah, you talked about other organizations, but just now you also mentioned the town governments. How important is that relationship, working with the town governments of the places in Connecticut and other places?
Well, I think that's really important. We got great relationships with the local police departments in a lot of different communities. I always have said, as a nonprofit leader, when there's a need in the community and they reach out to you for help, the answer is yes. What can we do? So you got to be able to have that relationship, not only locally, but on a statewide and federal wide as well. And so like Jenn just talked about, I wasn't here during the pandemic, but knowing Jenn and the staff, I'm sure they just pivoted and was there to help whatever the community needed. I've seen that in the 2 months already. So our personal connections and relationships in each of the communities we serve is very important, and something that we're trying to build on even today.
It sounds like those personal connections are kind of critical a lot of times to making these connections and finding these new avenues that you can help out.
Well, personal connections are really important. When you talk about, I like the phrase, we always look for people's time, talent, or treasure. So if you're interested in getting involved with Hometown Foundation, reach out to Jenn or reach out to myself, always looking for volunteers. But also looking for people that want to support us and want to make a donation. We are a 501c3, so we're always looking for people to get involved, like I said, with their time, their talent, or if they're interested in making a donation to us as well. So those personal connections are key.
Definitely. And one of the final pillars there that you guys do a lot is you help American service members, both in service by sending supplies overseas and at home by helping veterans that are dealing with issues like food insecurity. Could you tell us a little bit about that initiative?
Sure. So yeah, our military pillar is definitely one that is continuing to grow. We have a great team member, Shayla, who has done great work. Her father served in the services, so she really has such a deep rooted passion in that. Even just within the past year, the growth that we've seen has been awesome. She worked with some local organizations on something called peanut butter and burpees, and that was
Okay.
really collecting jars of peanut butter, and then something to do with how many jars of peanut butter you collected. You had to do a bunch of burpees for them, and then you raised money. But the peanut butter was donated to different veteran housing and things like that. There was a lot of facts about how like how important peanut butter is, because it can, really like cover so many nutritional pieces
Yeah.
there. But it was a great way for us to really kind of make headway with different organizations. And she actually kind of spearheaded being able to work with Bazzuto's. We have a program called Stock Up Express, and it's kind of like, bulk shopping online, and it's open to
Okay.
anybody. So if anybody wants to check that out, it's a really great way, for example, like local sports teams to get food, for like concession stands, or like if a local town is running some sort of festival or something like that, and they need just product in bulk at a great price. It's a great way to look at it. But she partnered with our Stock Up Express and one of the housing companies, and now they're doing monthly orders that were helped to be funded by the Peanut Butter and Burpees program. Also partnered with Save a Suit, and we held an event at the Farmington Polo Club. And so basically, Save a Suit does this really amazing work of suiting up veterans for going back into the workforce. So they're
Okay.
getting professional attire. And then in addition to that, they have people there that can help them, fine tune their resume. They can do their headshots. They have different tables, with different resources for veterans and things like that. So I believe we had 200 veterans that came through that day, which was really, really amazing. So
they have suits for the big interview and be also help preparing for that.
absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
And it's obviously like, business clothing, suits, whatever kind of situation, they're trying to get into, they're helping them prepare for that. So whether it's, an office, where you need a suit, or you need, polo shirts or whatever, they're really working to make sure that our veterans are well prepared to re-enter the workforce, and they have all the tools that they need.
And do people actually donate suits, or do they donate money that's then used to purchase suits? How does that work?
So we actually had a donor at one of our Florida events that sponsored the 200 suits, which was great. And so I believe some of them are suits that were donated and clean, but then they have Save a Suit has a partnership where they also get the suits. And of course, women's suits are included as well, or business
Important.
clothing. So.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. Although we've kind of barely touched the surface of all that you're doing as an organization, I think the main question is, how do you do it all? How do you keep focus on each of these events, on each of these programs, and the groups of folks in need?
That's a great question, because we do a lot. Like we said, we just finished turkeys and we're jumping right into collection of toys. It goes back to what I said earlier. We got a tremendous staff team. So each of our pillars has a leader. So they kind of lead those activities for us. And then I've told Jenn this many times. She's an amazing person who can organize events. So she gives a lot of leadership to those pillar leaders. But it's the staff just jump right in. Whatever's next on the horizon, the answer is, all right, let's just get to it, plan it, and start organizing it. So it really comes down to a great staff team and a great group of volunteers that are there to help.
Excellent.
I think too, the biggest thing for the staff is it's so tangible. So you could actually see, a lot of when you're at work, you do something and you might not necessarily see the result of it. everything we do, we get to see the direct result of, which is really great. And you really feel like you're a part of, helping people's lives improve or making, big changes in their lives. We didn't really touch on our major illness pillar, but we do a lot with that as well. We worked to get a girl who lost her limbs due to complications from septic shock and her appendix bursting.
Yeah.
I got to go down to Florida with her and see her get new legs this year. So that was absolutely amazing. Great family. And again, like it's great. We keep in touch with them and, check up on people's progress. We've donated handicapped accessible vans to a number of families. And again, this is the kind of stuff we can't do without the support of our donors and our sponsors. And so, we get so many requests, and luckily we're really blessed to have so many people in the community who are supporting us. But again, Doug said, we're always looking for more people who are interested, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a huge donation. It could be, are you willing to host a fundraiser? Are you willing to share our social media posts? Are you willing to just engage on our social media page to get the word out there? Share our website, things like that, just to a lot of people have not heard of the Hometown Foundation. So this is a great way to introduce different municipalities to it, to introduce more people to what we do, how we can help people in our different communities throughout the state, and how people can help us. And again, it doesn't have to be monetarily, as Doug said, you can be helping volunteer, you can be helping, share our message. So.
Yeah.
And, I did want to say one thing, Matt, especially if somebody's out there listening to this and might say, I might consider making a donation to that nonprofit. I know a lot of donors want to know how much money, if I donate, is going back out in the community. And I'm really excited to be able to tell you that less than 1% of the money that comes in covers administration. Thank you to Mr. Bizzuto. Thank you for the Bizzuto's organization. But most of our administrative fees are covered through the Bizzutos. So less than 1%. I think it's 0.8% of all donations covers administration. Or the other way to look at it is 99.2% of your money is going back out in the community. And there's not many nonprofits that can say that. And that's something I'm really proud about this organization.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about community. How important is the community to your organization? How do people respond to your initiatives?
Well, the community, I came from the YMCA world before I came here. So it is all about the community. Like Jenn said earlier, it's tangible that the staff can see the impact that we're having on the people. Again, I've only been here a couple months, and it's just amazing. Every event, my first week is when the officer in Hartford passed away. And so for us just to step right up and help out that community, and again, see the impact that we have every day on a life or a region is just tremendous. So that community impact is really, really important.
Excellent.
And I would tell anybody out in the community, whether you're a leader of that town, if you need help, if you need the Hometown Foundation, reach out to us. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, I guess that brings up a good question. How can people get involved? Do you have any events coming up that you can tell us about?
The next one, obviously, is our toy drive. So we've talked about that in the Bridgeport Islanders game. So again, we would love for people to go on hometownfoundation.org. You can get information. We have a ribbon at the top of the page for both of those events. Our next big event is going to be the Hearts and Paws Gala, and that actually is supporting canine officers in the state. And that event is really about giving canine officers and their significant other a night out where they can come and relax, because they really, all of our law enforcement and first responders, obviously out there every day on the front lines. Canine officers, they're never really off the clock because their dog is with them all the time. It's always about training, and they could be called at any moment to go in and help with whatever their dog is trained for, whether it's a lost person or finding drugs or finding a person, on the run. So that one, we partner with iHeartMedia which is a great partner of ours. And we give those canine officers a awesome night out, kind of, show them what they mean to the community. And so we have sponsorship opportunities. So you can sponsor a canine officer for their night out. So that's our next big event. And then hosting an event down in Florida at the Mar-a-Lago Club, Cars and Cigars Under the Stars. So that will be a fun one. A little far from here to go down to visit, but that get into we have a little bit of a lull as we start really preparing for kind of spring summer season, which is we have golf tournaments, we have the Dream Ride experience, that's our biggest weekend this upcoming year. It's going to be August 23rd, 24th, and 25th, 2024. We need volunteers the week leading up to set up. We need volunteers all weekend to help us at the event. And then the fun part afterwards, which is cleaning up, which is always fun to have volunteers for. So again, great ways to get involved in the community with that. We have really great chances. You can sponsor a Dream Rider, you can get to know them. If you choose to sponsor the Dream Rider now, it's something where you can really you can meet them and build that bond and then see them at the event. So we've had a lot of sponsors who have really grown relationships through that. We also have a toy drive event coming up before the Islanders game on Saturday, December 2nd during the day. We're having the Hoffman Holiday Toy Drive. So we will be at Hoffman Sports out in West Simsbury. The entry to that is a new unwrapped toy or $20. You come in, there's going to be amazing, great cars. So if you have a great car that you want to show off, you can come and display it. If you just want to come look at the cars, we always put on a pretty good show when it comes to those. You can definitely come and enjoy it as a spectator. We're going to have the great food trucks from the Farmington Polo Club. We're going to have, coffee, hot chocolate, all that good wintry stuff. And of course, some photo opportunities with the big guy in the red suit.
Oh, excellent.
And all of this can be found on our website, hometownfoundation.org, and you can just click on events. There's an event calendar that shows everything that we're doing.
You can find all the information there.
Yep. And we're on Facebook, Instagram. Those are great places to stay up to date on what we're doing. Again, you see something that looks interesting to you, we'd love for you to love it and share it and, help us get the word out because, the more people that we can reach, the more people we can help, the more people we can hopefully get to help us. So,
Speaking about hopefulness, we kind of always like to end the show talking with guests about the future. So I want to ask you both, are you optimistic about the future? And also in this time of year, what are you thankful for?
So I actually just posted the other day. We had a great video that one of our interns made, and I was just actually posting that I'm just so grateful to be able to work with the people that I work with. I mean, we have a most amazing team, as Doug's mentioned a few times now. We're a small team, there's not even 10 of us. So to be able to do everything we do with that team, but to have the support of Bazzuto's, the Farmington Polo Club, and the communities around us, and to be able to do this for a job and make an impact in the community is really, really great. And of course, my family, their health, and all that good stuff.
And family.
I'm really thankful the last couple of months to be joining this team that Jen's just talked about. And to me, it's always about giving back to the community and seeing their reaction when we're there to help. So I'm very appreciative of being part of this foundation.
Great.
But yeah, and then as far as the future, I think unfortunately, we seem to be at a time where we're seeing more and more of a need for help in different ways. And again, part of that is that the foundation has grown so much over the years. And so we're, people know more about us and are requesting help. But I think there's also just a greater need within the community. So, while you don't ever want to see that need there, I think that we're very fortunate to be able to help people when it comes to those asks. And, to be able, to be able to help somebody when they're facing, a dark time. So
Yeah.
to be able to be that light for them.
We don't want to have to say no. When people need us, we want to be there for them. So the help of volunteers and really people that want to step up and be donors and support what we do is critical for us to be able to continue saying yes and to continue to grow.
Well, Doug, Jenn, thank you so much for speaking with us today about everything you're doing at the Hometown Foundation.
Thank you for having us. This was great.
Thank you very much.
All right, and good luck in all your upcoming events.
All right, have a good holiday too, Matt.
We'd like to thank our guests, Doug Shaw and Jenn McCulloch of the Hometown Foundation. The Municipal Voice is a co-production by CCM and WNHH 103.5 FM. Christopher Gilson is our producer, Harry draws on the boards, and I'm Matt Ford, your host. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and give us a like, and watch out for our CCM chat series on our YouTube page.